why does certain questions apply to A&M but not to other teams? Like A&M loses players, and then they're always talked about, oh, they're young, but yet Alabama loses players and they're not young. Georgia uses players and they're not young. So why only to the Aggies when they have just as good recruit classes as Alabama, Georgia, and way better recruit classes than Mississippi, Arkansas, Auburn. But Aggies don't get that same respect.
Okay, so let me ask you first and foremost, not that it matters, but are you a Texas A&M fan?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. I'm only asking you that actually because I wanted to put your name up there. So, Bert, so I think this has part to do with it. So, you've been a Texas A&M fan for how long?
Shoot, since I went to school there I went to school back in '90. I was a freshman and then before then, so I've seen Aggie footballs for the last since 1980.
Sure. Okay. Texas A&M last won a conference championship in what year?
1998.
Okay. So you've got an amazing football program. And when I say football program, I'm talking about the rabid fan base, the size of the fans, expanding Kyle Field to 100 and a zillion thousand. I think it's 105 plus. All of that stuff, exactly. The facilities, everything is amazing there. But it's been a long time since Texas A&M was winning conference championships. The early 90s, basically, was a good stretch, obviously, under R.C. Slocum. And then, 98, beat Kansas State in 98, won the Big 12, went to the Sugar Bowl that year. So the thing with Alabama, first and foremost, they're just kind of a different deal. But also Georgia under Kirby Smart, and to a certain extent under Mark Richt, is they prove that regardless of who they lose, that it just almost doesn't matter. They've proven that over and over and over. I think that's the difference.
Okay, that's understandable. But if you had the number 1 class, number 3 class, number 7 class, how is that not respectable considering everybody else's recruiting class?
Because you went 8-5, 9-4, 9-1, 8-4 under Jimbo Fisher.
Okay, but did the other teams? Yet that's what I'm saying. The same arguments that are used against A&M, and all the other teams get passes on. A&M played the whole season last year with a backup quarterback.
Sure. So so you're wanting people to believe that Texas A&M is what? You're ranked 7th in the coaches poll preseason.
Exactly, but yet people saying, "Oh, that's overrated." Greg McElroy comes up there, "Oh, they're overrated because they're young." I mean, you got one of the most dynamic playmakers in college football, doesnt. But yet you're over there ranking a running back that hasn't even played in the SEC above him, Gibbs from that's at Alabama. Come on, he ain't no doesnt.
Well, that remains to be seen. We don't know. I'm not going to make a call on that, but yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs was playing at Georgia Tech. Devin O'Shane is a phenomenal back who had the best yards per carry average in the nation last year. Here's what I'll say, Bert. This is what makes it difficult for Texas A&M. Do I believe that Texas A&M is one of the 7 best football teams in the country? Yeah, probably. They're right in that range. Do I know that they're going to come through and win the games that they need to finish? They're probably going to have to go 11-2 this year to finish in that range, number 7 in the country. And because the schedule's so difficult, do I believe that they're, again, one of the 7 best, most talented teams? Yes. But they're not playing in the ACC. They're not playing in the Pac-12. They got to go through that schedule.
Yes. So, but at the same time, what Arkansas lost the top number 1 draft pick at wide receiver.
Yep.
The recruits that the defensive backs, defensive starters at linebacker. And you're going to say that they have more talent than Texas A&M? No, they don't.
Well, no, they don't. They don't have as talented a roster as Texas A&M. There's no question about that. And they're 23rd in the coaches poll.
So would you pick their coach over Jimbo Fisher?
I'm starting to believe that. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough call. Well, I'm looking at my coaches' rankings right now because of what the other caller said about Mark Stoops. I got Jimbo at 7. I got Sam Pittman at 15. So technically, no.
And then another thing, the Aggie defense last year. I said the Aggie defense only gave up 20 points a game last year. Was ranked in the top 20. So they'll improve even though the ones they lost. You're bringing in five stars on the defensive line.
Bert, here's my basic take. I'm sorry to cut you off. You completely cut out, and I thought you were done. Here's my basic take on Texas A&M. If you look at Jimbo Fisher, season 5, facilities, recruiting, all that, put all that together, this program is riding high. It's on the upward swing, no doubt. But when I look at, okay, we got a quarterback competition between Haynes King, who won the job last fall, but got hurt in game 3, so he hasn't proven anything. And we got Max Johnson, who's a good quarterback, but I don't know that anybody's going to rank Max Johnson as anywhere inside the top 20 quarterbacks in the country. So you've got a decent quarterback situation. And despite all the talent you've got on defense, that front 7 got torn to shreds, meaning leaving. You lost a lot of players in the front 7. Your wide receiver core has been disappointing the last several years. So there's a lot of questions about this team. I don't know that this is really your year this year. I think it might be 23.
Okay. I can understand that.
And I might,
but I still think I still think A&M is going to surprise some people in the end.
Okay. What does that mean? Like,
I think they'll win the games that they're supposed to win.
Okay.
But then they did that in 2020, and they still didn't get no respect. You know, they only lose to Alabama, but you still don't make the playoff. Why?
Well, yeah, you're right. You could make a case between them and Notre Dame.
And that was all SEC. That was an all SEC schedule.
Sure, it was an all SEC schedule, but I don't think you want me to go through Texas A&M's 2020 schedule because it wasn't that tough.
So, but they played Tennessee. They played Alabama. That's the only game they lost. They beat Florida, top 5 Florida team. They beat LSU. Yeah. Just because they have a down year, that's not A&M's fault.
So is it? Texas A&M beat one. Texas A&M in 2020 beat 2 teams with winning records, and one of them was 6-5 Auburn.
So you're gonna hold that because the A&M, because the other teams have a bad losing schedule or down year, that's A&M's fault.
No, I didn't say it was their fault, but you're just telling me that they played. Bert, you're just telling me that they played. Hey, Bert, I apologize if I'm cutting you off. It's because your audio is low and sometimes I can't hear you.
Okay.
Here's the deal, Bert. It's not Texas A&M's fault. They played an all SEC schedule. I'm just pointing out the facts that they only beat 2 teams with winning records in 2020, and one of them was 6-5 Auburn. That's all I'm saying. That's the truth.
Alabama played the same schedule pretty much, didn't they?
Yeah, but they also went and won a national championship, and they also beat.
I'm just saying, they only won 2 more games more than we did.
Well, come on, you're not comparing Texas A&M in 2020 to Alabama in 2020. I'm
just saying it's the same thing.
Well, it's not the same thing.
In the Orange Bowl.
They played, and Alabama won by 4 touchdowns.
Okay, then A&M beat them last year, and then what do they get? Oh, Alabama played a bad game. A&M took that game.
Well, yeah, they took that game.
Did they not?
You can't just show up one time in a football season. You got to show up week after week after week. So you can't beat Alabama and lose to Arkansas and all these other teams that they lost to. They lost 4 games in the SEC. They went 4-4 in the SEC.
All right. So I'll hold that to you at the end of the year if they run that. If they but if they run that table and do it this year, then what excuses you're gonna have?
Well, they need to do it I'm not gonna have any excuses. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna tell the truth, is all I'm gonna do.
I hear you.
So yeah, Texas A&M goes, let's say 11-1. I'm gonna, against their schedule, I'm gonna say this is one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country.
So yeah, they will be if they do that. When you look at a team like Texas, you look at a team of Texas who gets a 5-star quarterback, and now they're supposed to win the Big 12 just because they get a 5-star quarterback from Ohio State that didn't even start or took 1 snap and didn't even throw the ball at Ohio State. Come on.
Well, Bert, see, some of your argument, though, you're talking about things that I don't know. Like when you say we don't get any respect and everybody's talking about Texas. You're right. Texas hasn't done anything outside of 1 season since 2009. But yeah, they got a 5-star quarterback, but that's not all they picked up. Texas picked up a lot. And I'm the first person to diss Texas and tell them that they need to show up on the field and do something. I'm the first person to say that. But people are giving Texas, people are putting expectation on Texas because they did acquire a lot of personnel. Now, one of them went off the deep end in the last day or two, Ajay Hall, and who knows what's going to happen with him. But Texas is an interesting team, and you'll get to see them every year here pretty soon.